And okay, so also too is, okay, I'm kind of referring back to what we were talking about earlier, just about the heart making this thing good. I mean, dang, I messed that up. Referring back to the heart, because God sees the heart and not the actions of man. You know, he look at the outside, he looks at your heart. And I think about Peter though, man. I mean, Peter was in the Garden of Gethsemane. I mean, Peter was one of Jesus's closest disciples, but he fell asleep on him, man, in the Garden of Gethsemane, and then that brother turned around, and denied him 3 times, man. You know, dang, for real, that's crazy. That's flat out crazy. Yeah. And but so Jesus, he went to the cross and he died and he resurrected, and then he's about to go back, you know, to heaven, and he asked Peter right before he leaves. I thought this was amazing. He said, "Peter, do you love me?" And Peter said, "Yes, you know, I love you." And he said, "Peter, do you love me?" And he said, "Yes, I love you." He said, "Peter, do you love me?" He said, "Yes, Lord." And you know, he's kind of getting almost offended and kind of heartbroken that Jesus asked him 3 times, "Peter, do you love me?" Well, I want to ask that question to you. As much as you have sinned and as much as you have fallen short and all the bad habits and addictions and everything that you fell in, do you love God? Do you? Yeah. And I think it's awesome is because Jesus didn't embarrass him. He didn't look down on him. He didn't bring up his past. You know what I'm saying? He could have done all those things, but he just asked him a simple question: do you love me? And I hope your answer with your heart is yes. I still love you. I know that I'm a wicked person. I know that I'm an evil person. I know that there's no good thing in my flesh. I know that my flesh loves to sin. I know that I'm going to be tempted with all kinds of things. I know that I don't have the best teaching in the world. I know that I don't read my Bible all the time. I know I don't pray all the time. I know that I'm not the best Christian. Just with all the excuses we could throw out there, do you love me? And yeah, if your answer is yes, then you could rededicate yourself right then and there, and God will take you as you are, as dirty as you are, man. That's how awesome God is, for real, man. Devin, well, do you mind telling them how you asked God where you were at?
Yeah, I don't mind.
You don't mind?
No, I don't mind.
I think this is pretty amazing.
You mean whenever I called out?
Yeah.
Just dirty as can be, man. Literally just dirty as can be. I mean, Jordan hit it right on the nose, man. And he came, you know, I was drunk, I was high. That night, tried hooking up with another girl, just broke up with my girl. So you know I was dirty.
Yeah.
You know, literally, mentally, physically, just all around dirty. But I still knew, I had a foundation that knew that no matter what, if I wanted God to be in my life, all I had to do was just tell him.
Yeah.
And I believed in that, and he did. I mean, like I told the kids today, it wasn't like an angel swooped me out of my bed. You know, I was laying in bed, high as a kite, drunk as a skunk, and I couldn't I couldn't sleep. You know, and I used to really, and this I never told you this today, but I used to trip out when I was high.
Yeah.
You know, I would have anxiety. You know, real bad if I got too high, and I got too high and too drunk, I'd just thrown up, and no one was around. My girlfriend had just moved back to Lovington, and my friends, I don't know where they're at. They're probably out at another party or something. But I was at home, and I wanted to change, and at that moment I cried out, man.
Yeah.
Crazy. I don't know what it was, but he came.
Yeah.
And it wasn't at that moment, but a peace came to me at that moment, and fell asleep. Next day, nothing had changed, but spiritually there was a change.
Yeah.
You know, there was a goal in mind. Some doors opened up pretty recently after that moment, and just had to take those opportunities and get out of there, man. I was move home.
For sure, bro.
Yeah. So.
Man, talking about that, I was telling this guy the other night when we left the pit. Whenever I was in jail, man, I'm claustrophobic bad. You know what I mean? Like when I was a kid, my cousins put a blanket over my head or something, you know, I freak out, have an anxiety attack.
There you go.
I was in lockdown for 72 hours, you know, and the third day that I was in there, I really thought that I was going to have a heart attack. I was freaking out so bad.
Dang.
And I remember laying on my bed, And my cellie was only there for the weekend. He was just serving weekends, so he had just left. You know what I mean? I had spent the whole day by myself. And I remember laying there and I started crying and I said, you know, before that I told him I didn't even believe in God, you know what I mean? After I left church, I was like, man, all the sin in this world, there ain't no God, you know what I mean? How can you let this go down? But when I was in church, when I was in jail, it just kind of popped in my head, you know what I mean? Like, what can it hurt, you know, to try it, you know what I mean? So I was laying there crying and I said, God, if you're out there, I can't do this. I said, I need your help. I just need to get out of this cell for a little bit or I'm going to kill myself. And at that moment, you know, the doors they're controlled by magnets, you know what I mean? And only a key or the COs downstairs on the computer can open it. And at that moment, I was looking at the wall and my door was behind me and I heard bzzz. And I turned around and looked and my door just cracked open. And I looked at it and my heart stopped beating fast. Like it was beating fast and it just stopped. Everything slowed down. And I looked at it like, am I getting into lockdown? And it was 8:30 at night. So we were about to go into lockdown 30 minutes, you know. I walked out of my cell and I looked around and all the people that were sitting on the couches watching TV kind of laughed. They were like, come on out, man, they ain't around. The COs were downstairs. And I shut my cell and I went and I just sat down. And I sat there and I watched Pirates of the Caribbean for 30 minutes. And when I stood up, I was so at peace that I went back in my cell and I heard a voice in my head say, now do the rest of your time and straighten up. And I was like, whew. And as soon as I closed my eyes, I was out. And when I woke up, they were waking me up to take me out of lockdown and I was in the regular population. And I was like, whew. At that moment, I was like, man, if that wasn't God, I don't know what that was. And that was the moment when I really, I was like, there is a God out there, you know what I mean? Because that just, it put me in peace, you know what I mean? Because I was, at the drop of a hat, I was about to, you know, just go over the deep end. It was crazy. Man. And it just, that blew my mind, you know what I mean? That actually happened. That was cool, man.
Wow, that's awesome, bro. That's awesome.